Good morning. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about reloading. And I'm not an expert on reloading. I was given some equipment. I was given some presses. I was given some dies. I was given some other stuff to work with, and because it's something that I've been interested in doing. And then I got a book and started reading the book, and I realized that still missing a lot of stuff. So I've been slowly accumulating equipment, the scale, and some other stuff that I needed to be able to do this. And it's very important that for me that I take this very slowly because I really want to be doing this safely. These cartridges that go into your chamber, when you fire them, they put out thousands, tens of thousands of psi, and if it's not done properly, you can blow up the gun. You can hurt yourself. The 30-06, I'll never forget the one that blew its primer back into my face, and caught my hair on fire, and it burnt my face. And I'm not going to have that happen to me because of something that I've done. I there are reasons people get into reloading, and one of the reasons is because they are trying to get the most out of their gun that they can. I think we all try to do that, but I'm talking about the people that go to the range and they want to drive tacks with their guns. They want to pow, pow, pow consistently. So what they do is they make their cartridges consistent, so that their gun will react, and they tweak it so that they know how their gun will react to certain cartridges. And you've seen my guns. My guns, they're not going to do that anyway, no matter what you do. I have a couple that have very good rifling in them, but for the most part, the rifling is war-torn and is not going to help. So for me, the reason I am going into the reloading, aside from the adventure, is I want to shoot more. And by shooting more, I want to produce more ammo. And eventually, as it goes on, I will be actually producing it for less and less money as time goes on. The initial setup is very expensive, and so that eventually, you don't have to buy the equipment again. Once you buy it, you buy a set of die for $50, but you never have to buy them again. You can keep reusing them, and every time you use them, the price goes down as far as what you've had to pay for it. Same thing with the brass. The brass is about $1. Well, although I got some Carcanos for about 60 cents a piece. But you can use them for 5-6 times, and so you figure, well, that brings them down to 10 cents a piece. So to me, that's what it is. I couldn't shoot a tack if my life depended on it. I have the Parkinson's. It's just not going to happen anyway. So, and with my guns, I love my guns, but they're not marksmanship guns. Like I said, I'm hoping that it'll be kind of like going on this reloading adventure together, and we can learn together. And those that are already reloading, if you have any suggestions or comments, please let me know. Because like I said, I want to do this safely, and I don't want to get hurt, and I don't want to hurt anybody else. So, well, one of the basic pieces of equipment is what I'm going to do first, and I'm not going to talk for a half hour today. We're going to break all this up into pieces. Are the presses. I'll show you the presses. Probably tomorrow. I'll have to go out there and videotape it tonight or today. I have my resizing press out in the garage, and the reason I have it out there is because I needed a very sturdy table to do that with, and my bench here is just not that sturdy to do that, and I don't want to break it. And it's after 4:30 in the morning, and although it is almost lunchtime, I'd rather do it when it's light out than do it when it's dark. But each of the presses has the die. There are certain presses that you can buy. You can buy a single press where you take the die and you change it, and you do what you have to do, then you change the die out. Then you have the two die, like the two presses like I have. I have one press for the resizing, which we'll talk about, and the other one for the actual putting the bullet on the top of the cartridge. And so that's two. And you have a progressive press, which has a spindle on top, and you have your resizing die, and you turn it, and you put you put in your bullet on die. I can't remember the name of it. And then the other one, there's a third die, and it's the crimping die, and that's the one that goes down on top, and it crimps the bullet inside the cartridge. You don't most times you don't need a crimping die. Your bullet's not held into the cartridge by being crimped. Okay, it says that for the most part, what it is, it's friction. It's friction from the bullet up against the neck of the cartridge. So you have your cartridge. So the first one that goes on the resizing, for me anyway, the resizing press is the resizing die. This one here is a full cartridge die. This goes, we'll show you, it sits on top, and this goes up inside. I'm not going to press it up inside because it'll get stuck. And two things happen to it when it's inside. Number one, you can see this little thing sticking out here. What that does is when it goes up inside, it pushes the old primer out. So you don't have to worry about the old primer. The old primer comes out. Inside, probably can't see it, but it's the shape of your cartridge. The cartridges expand when they get shot. You know that they're gonna shoot out, so they're not going to be within factory specs or within the specs that are standards for the bullets and stuff. So what you got to do is you have to put it inside here, and when you push it down, it forms your shoulder and all that stuff, and make sure that everything's the way it's supposed to be. Now it's so tight in there because you want it to be perfect that you have to put a little bit of lube on it, and we'll do that tomorrow because I'll throw some through and just to show you. So you have to put some lube on it and it'll work. But as it goes in, man, I've already run these through, I guess. This one hasn't been. Okay. There's your sticker to stick the decapper that takes the thing out. So what happens is it goes in and it hits that. And what that does is it opens the mouth of the cartridge up just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, big enough that you can take and stick your bullet on top of it, so that when you put it into the loading press, it'll stay on top, so you can load your cartridge. You don't want it too big because the bullet will fall through. You don't want it too small because it'll bend things up when it. So it's all pretty precise, and that's what this does. And that's like everything's fully adjustable. You can adjust the length of this here if you want, or the length of where you want your part that opens up the mouth of the cartridge, because there are ways that people don't put the cartridge all the way inside. They only put it part of the way inside, but I'm not that good. I'm still learning how things are done. This is the loading die, and what this does is you put your bullet on top, and this goes up inside. Okay, and it goes up inside, and when it goes up inside, there is a piece. Oh, it's not going to be able to come out without messing with it. well, just imagine at the end of this, there's a cup, and this cup is where the cartridge and the bullet come up, and it pushes it in. Well, you have to adjust the height of your bullet, or because that'll give you the length of your cartridge. So what you're going to do is adjust it this way here with this little knob, and it brings it up and down, and that way there you can adjust the height of your bullet. Some people like their bullets to stick out a little bit. Some people like their bullets all the way in. There is, man, it's already, okay, only 10 minutes. You get information. This is for the Carcano. And the Carcano will tell you what case to use, what primer to use, what bullet to use. It'll tell you the maximum length of your cartridge, which is not necessarily, you don't necessarily want the maximum length of the cartridge. Although, like I said, some people feel that they need to let their bullets hang out a little bit more. That's supposed to help with marksmanship or whatever. But it talks about the maximum case length, which is the length here. And it talks about a trim length, which is, I have a trimmer, we'll show you the trimmer, and because as the cartridges expand, they also expand lengthwise. So you want to use a little trimmer and trim them down to the size that they're supposed to be at. Inside the books, I don't have my Hornady book here, but you get information. If you look, and it tells you the different bullets that'll fit inside your gun. In the Hornady book, it's mostly Hornady bullets, and of course, they're going to sell their own bullets and stuff. Then it'll tell you down here which gunpowder to use. There's different gunpowders. You don't just throw gunpowder in there. There's different gunpowders that do different things. And it'll tell you the charge that you should put in, how many, and it's in grains. We'll talk about grains later too. And then it'll tell you this is the maximum amount of grains you want to put in for these bullets to be able to be shot. Now for the Carcano, you got all sorts of different bullets that you can use, different weights. Those are the 140 grains. This is the ones that I used, I chose. And that's the 130 grains. And that's the gunpowder that I chose to use with it. I'm not interested in necessarily in the great ballistics that other people are, but that, because it's highlighted a little bit, is supposed to be the optimal gunpowder to use with that bullet. So that's what I chose. Plus, that's the one I could find too, because it's hard to find this stuff. You have to use the recipes because if overcharging your cartridge is not going to help things. It's only going to make things worse. And if you undercharge it, that makes things just as bad, because I had that squib, if you remember, maybe not, back when I was shooting one of my guns, where there wasn't enough charge for it to make it out of the barrel. And if I had fired another round afterwards, then that would have been very bad, because it would have hit the back of the other bullet, and that would have been a bad thing. So you have to follow the recipes, and they're very specific. And I'll show you how to make sure that you have the right charge inside the right bullet, with the right bullet, and so forth. It's a lot more complicated than I thought. I understood, well, you have to use a certain amount of gunpowder, and make sure everything's clean and everything's the way it's supposed to be, but it's turned out to be a very complicated endeavor, and people dedicate all their time to the perfect bullet and the perfect round, and and so forth. And I intend to use, at least for now, I intend to use the factory specs and not deviating from that at all, because I just like to go shooting. And if I can hit at 100 yards, if I can hit a pie plate, I'm happy. You know, it's not that important to me. I don't have any scopes, so it's all iron sights, and uh, so but you know, people get into reloading for different reasons. Um, so anyway, that's 15 minutes. That's about 10 minutes longer than I thought it was going to be. Um, the tomorrow there'll be a video on, or the next day there'll be a video on the resizing, and I also have to do a video on cleaning the cartridges. It's very important the cartridges are clean, not that they're shiny, but that they're clean. I had a tumbler that was in the mail and it got destroyed before it came here, so they took it back, and I can imagine that the people that had shipped it to me, where it came from, because they, in the letter that they sent me, it said to send it to you would have been very dishonorable. So to me, that tells me where it came from. But I do need to get a tumbler. But in the meantime, I'm going to be washing them by hand, which means that they're probably not going to be real shiny. And real shiny doesn't matter as long as they're clean and ready to go. So um, I guess that's it for right now for the reloading. I'm sure I'll think of things, and if people have any questions on what I've said or whatever, then let me know and I'll look it up. Or if I don't have the answer, you know, I'll look it up. But this is going to be fun. The the not as much fun as taking care of guns, but things have really slowed down in that department again. So I guess it's time to move on with this here. But um, I guess that's it. So what I'll be on either tomorrow or the next day. Thank you.